Good evening. I'm Robin Simmons.
And I'm Joe Rhodes. 7 News at 5 starts now.
This is 7 News at 5.
The storm station tracking subtropical storm Alberto currently spinning out in the Gulf of Mexico.
It is expected to gain strength. A cone of concern has it heading toward the Gulf Coast, and parts of North Florida could be in Alberto's path.
But South Florida not being spared. Rounds of wet weather bringing us a weekend washout. That storm already proving to be a real rainmaker, and you know it, and the potential for flooding is a serious concern.
In fact, Governor Scott has already declared a state of emergency for the entire state of Florida.
And you know, as we give you those coordinates and also the winds that the storm has, we use Doppler radar, our meteorologists do, but also the hurricane hunters actually going into the storm. And when you look at that image, it's amazing that they can do that. But we had an opportunity to have one of our crews be the only ones on that flight.
Just one station with this story. 7's Joe Rhodes has it.
This is the forecasted track. This is the nightmare track for Florida.
By ground, Hurricane Irma is a lot of talk for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's hurricane hunters, plotting the best way to provide urgent and sensitive data as the monster storm takes aim at Florida. But the real work for this group of NOAA scientists happens in the skies, not near the deadly storm, but heading directly into it. Irma has been on this group's radar for days.
They don't come much more serious. Honestly, you don't want to be either east or west of the center.
Collecting data to calculate its movements is a big task. This is what's called a drop wind sonde, and there are more than 24 of these on the plane. They measure pressure, temperature, humidity, and wind speed, and they will actually go into this tube right here and be ejected from the plane as we pass through the eye of Hurricane Irma.
Once this chute is out of the way and that beam of light is actually able to go across to the other side to the sensor, we get a launch detect on our station saying that that sonde is good.
The information instantly beamed back to computers on board the P-3 Orion aircraft and pushed back to the National Hurricane Center for forecasting.
The part that's over water is very strong, very well-defined eye, about a 30-mile across eye, hurricane force winds 50 miles all the way around the storm out from the center.
7 News cameras capturing one of the final 3 flights through the massive eye of the storm.
All right, folks, we are in the eye of Hurricane Irma. Great opportunity to look out the window.
30 miles wide and a turbulent trip to get there. The best opportunity to get a good read on the catastrophic storm on this plane, with 2 Doppler radars attached and all the other tools on board. The data tells a troubling story.
All of the evacuation orders are exactly well placed. Hopefully everybody's responding to them because this is a real bad storm.
We're passing through the center, and as we exit up here on this just past Cuba, we're going to do one more combo drop and at RTB or return to base.
After 3 passes, the landing a lot more smooth than the 6-hour journey through the eye of the storm. But this group gets little rest. Again, the NOAA hurricane hunters expect to make 2 more trips into the eye of Hurricane Irma. They'll call off these trips as it makes landfall. They already plan to go out again early Saturday morning. Reporting in Lakeland, Joe Rhodes, 7 News.
What a perspective, huh?
It's not just down trees either. Streets are swamped in some parts of South Florida, and drivers have to take it slow. The night team's Joe Rhodes live in Hollywood. He's got more on this. Joe?
Yeah, and Belkis, the good news is that today the city turned on the water pumps to get some of the water off the streets and out of neighbors' yards here. So you can see we're dealing with a little more of a clear situation. But now neighbors are left with this here behind me, massive trees and a lot of damage. And as you can see, it is going to be a big cleanup effort. From falling trees to being underwater. Parts of Hollywood still feeling the wet effects of Hurricane Irma on Monday. A driving tour off Hollywood Boulevard near the bridge shows several inches of water still sitting on the roadways and near the front door of some homes.
This is extra high water. I'm sure some people had some damages inside the house. I think this is from a surge. That's my guess, but it's sad. And it's sad when you go further north from here, too. There's a lot more water in this low lake area.
Halfway up the driveways to the older houses that are a little lower, it's almost at the door, but it's not in the door yet.
People are trying to make the best of a few days without power, biking through the waters or a quick paddle after being kept inside over the weekend. For one family, a real reason to be happy after this close call. On Tyler Street, just north of the boulevard at the height of the hurricane.
At first, just like a branch fell down over here, and then we moved it over to the curb. But little by little, more branches started falling. The
Jerome family rushing to get cars out of the way as branches snapped on this old tree in their front yard. Next thing they know, down it went. As the waters recede, pumped out of the roadways, a rush to start the cleanup process.
For a single person alone, it's extensive, and some things I can't salvage, some I can.
And everyone doing what they can to pitch in, down to every fish left behind in the streets.
I wouldn't like to be trapped in grass.
Nobody would. Well, hey, as far as that cleanup process goes, it's definitely going to be hindered by the fact that, as you can see, there's still no power here, at least where we are on Tyler Street in the city of Hollywood. That is why there is a curfew in effect until 7 tomorrow morning. We're live in Hollywood. Joe Rotes, 7 News 19. As dawn breaks on Fort Myers Beach, and March stretches his sea legs for what's sure to be a long day. Calm waters make way for a 9-hour journey.
Sit down and enjoy yourself. I got so many pictures here.
But that gives the World War II veteran plenty of time to reflect on his past at sea.
You see these depth charges? That's what I used to do.
As he gets ready to say goodbye,
I got pictures, I don't know.
To an old friend.
Take people fishing, that's what I normally do.
With land out of sight,
we make a little bit of a turn to the northwest and we'll be on course.
And coordinates given.
082, TAC 43 west.
30 miles offshore.
Excuse me, guys, thank you.
Everyone anxiously waits.
I know, they won't push the button without us.
Then suddenly, there she is.
I used to fly across that galley on my hands and knees.
The World War II Coast Guard cutter on open water one last time.
Going out to watch them sink the Mohawk. The Germans couldn't do it. That's for sure, right?
The 87-year-old who tracked the USS Mohawk from Maine down to Key West since his time on board.
I'm glad you made it out.
Eyes the ship that for once followed him home.
1 minute warning.
It's a lot better than scrapping it.
Please stand clear of the back of the vessel.
With Ed front and center, silence. Then...
First I missed it.
Okay, there she's going straight down.
In less than 3 minutes...
It's up to my bunk.
The mighty Mohawk, along with 80 years of history...
I can't believe...
slowly slips below the surface of the Gulf, some 90 feet down. But as he heads home,
I didn't sleep good, just thinking about it.
He'll hold this memory close to his heart.
I wanted to see somebody from the Mohawk, that's why I brought all my pictures.
Like so many others.
Well, it belongs to the ghost now.